Hey, this is Wilbur. We got two replays that we're going to discuss today, and the main topic here is how to stop that Fort+Fang before it gets started. So in this game, I'm against the AOM player, who is a cost control, and I am fortified specialist with Stormcaller Arclight. My opponent starts with Tarantula Fang. So we'll speed up the deployment here. So pretty early on in this game, I knew that my opponent was going to be going Fort+Fang, since it's kind of been a pretty popular strategy in the community right now. With Stormcallers, I deploy pretty standard, and here my opponent, you're going to see, is going to do a right-sided aggression with the Tarantulas that are a little bit behind some of the Fangs. So one of the things I already disagree with, if you're going to play right-sided aggression, Tarantulas need to be up on the line. They shouldn't be this far behind your Jav. And, yeah, just not the greatest setup. He also immediately takes the defense upgrade. And when I think you're playing Fort+Fang, you need to pinch every single penny that you can to afford those upgrades on those Fangs and then get to those fortresses as fast as possible, because Fort+Fang is an expensive build. Like, you're talking 2 techs on the Fangs, you want range and mech rage, and then with the fortress you want shield like immediately to protect those Fangs. So saving money is the right way to play. In this game I got a little bit lucky because I had the Stormcallers, and they're a big benefit to stopping those early Fangs. So I grabbed the shield drop, trying to defend this right side. I'm not 100% convinced my opponent's going Fort+Fang yet, so I think he's just playing Tarantula aggression. So that's why I opt for the bubble here. I grab a couple more Fangs to deploy over here, and I've deployed 2 crawlers, one to stop flanking there, and then one in the middle here, and then another Fang up here. My opponent, he has grabbed the range enhancement. So at this point I pretty much know that he's going Fort+Fang. I also see that he sold out of a Tarantula. So that means most certainly I'm going to be dealing with some upgraded Fangs and eventually some fortresses. My opponent also takes the shield drop, which kind of slows down the destruction of this right side of Fangs, but he's pretty much on guard on the left flank, and my Stormcallers get through there pretty quick. We also take out that missile that he deployed. So this was another nice round for me. And we'll speed up here as the Stormcallers take care of these Fangs. Slow back down again for the unit deployment. So into round 3. Here we get a unit drop, and I'm pretty much certain that my opponent is going to be taking those fortresses, so the Mustang card is looking pretty good. My opponent grabs the Sabertooth, and I think they just sell it right away to get some of that money that I was mentioning before that you need. So there it goes. I grab the Mustangs and deploy down here. Oh no, he puts it on the flank. Doesn't sell it quite yet. So this Mustang pack's going to kill these Fangs very quickly. And I put another set of Fangs here, as well as another set of Stormcallers to help protect this right side. Here comes that second tech, the Mechanical Rage. Opponent sold the second Tarantula and has added 2 crawlers. Or no, I think just 1 crawler over here. I also get the defense upgrade and level this Stormcaller, level this Arclight. With that, we're both out of money, and we should see the round start here. See the Mustangs just ripping through those Fangs. Now we have this big Sabertooth to deal with, so our Mustangs are going to get stuck on it. Some of them are going to help kill these Fangs. Our crawlers arrive, help distract that Sabertooth. Again, the left side falls really fast from our opponent. pretty much just that Sabertooth's left. So you can see the Stormcallers and the 2 Arclights are really doing a number on those early Fangs. And we get some good damage down onto our opponent. So now we see an expensive card, the Advanced Defense Tactics. I see Subsidized Mustang and be like, oh yes, we're buying that because we know we have to deal with Fangs this game. So I grabbed the Subsidized Mustang, and I think my opponent takes Advanced Defense Tactics, which is, I think, a really bad pick when you are going for Fang. Because like I said, you need that money to buy those fortresses and buy those upgrades. So he does choose that. Advanced Defense Tactics. I put down 2 sets of Mustangs up front to help take care of those Fangs. We see a flanking Fang has shown up here. I've leveled these crawlers. He's leveled these 2 Fangs. And one other nice thing about when you go like these kind of Mustang Stormcaller starts and Arclights, these Fangs have a really hard time leveling. So you can see, I think this Fang's been here the entire game, and this Fang's been here the entire game, as well as this one, and we still don't have levels on them. So even with that Mustang card that showed up, my opponent decided he's going to go Mustangs without buying it. He's taken the Missiles Interceptor to stop my Stormcallers, which we will see is effective, but I think, again, he is wasting money that could have went into fortresses here. By now, he should have had a fortress on the field turn 4, and he doesn't. The wasted tech, or the wasted card on the Advanced Defense Tactics was a mistake, and I think he could have sold this round for the fortress, and those 2 Mustangs I just don't think are necessary this early in the game. You really need to start developing the fortresses to protect those Fangs. So once again, he's completely overrun. There's nothing tanking for these Fangs. They're just getting obliterated by the Mustangs and the Stormcallers. So getting ahead of your opponent before you get overwhelmed by fortresses is, I think, a big thing to do here. So now we see all expensive cards come up. My opponent takes Advanced Offensive Tactics, and I take Ion Blast. So once again, he's taking a very expensive card where he probably should have skipped. He's only at $400 this round. It's not enough money. There goes the Sabertooth to finally unlock the fortress and buy it. And I plan on Ion Blasting this kind of right side of units. I unlocked 2 level 2 Mustangs with the Elite Recruit, because I know I'm going to need them this game. I add a bubble, upgrade this Mustang, and I'm left with $250, but I rapid resupply, knowing that if I win the next round or 2, the game will probably be over. My opponent also rapid resupplies so you can afford a second fortress. It adds that bubble in the same spot over here. I plan on missiling this, but that's going to be blocked by the shield drop. So we finally see some fortresses on the field, but no barrier because he spent money on things that he shouldn't have. So maybe I shouldn't be giving out these pro tips to the Fort+Fang players because it's such a toxic build, but hey, if you want to play it better, you know, these are my pro tips to play it better. So Ion Blast helps pop the bubble, but we miss out on killing any of those Fangs we wanted to just run over with it. We do get a little bit here. And now with all those anti-missile device Mustangs gone, the fortresses are vulnerable to our Stormcallers, and they fall really quickly. And with that, it's probably enough damage to end the game. So this is what a 5-round win looks like against a Fort+Fang player that made some mistakes. So if you can capitalize on the small mistakes, like I think these fortresses could have been out a round earlier, and then this round they would have had bubble and probably another fortress over here. Maybe he would have been able to break through. But even then, I don't think it would have been enough this round. We had quite a force on the field. So my tips for my opponent this game: don't buy those expensive red cards. They're just going to slow down your deployment of the forts. And you probably we'll just have to sacrifice the anti-missile device for a few rounds so you can get you need that meat out on the field, those fortresses to soak the damage first, and then you can add those Mustangs in the back to stop those Stormcaller shots. So if you're the defending player against this, you know, Stormcallers are your friends early, Mustangs are your friends early, and even late game you're probably going to want Mustangs to kill those fangs anyway. So the Stormcallers can drop off late, and you might want melters to get through the shields of the fortresses, but they are pretty effective, especially with levels. So if you can get Stormcallers with a level or two, they will kill fortresses. So let's take a look at the second game where I play against another Fort+Fang spammer. So in this game we have a bit of a variation on the fortress Fang. We actually get Fang melting point. So I kind of forced my opponent to deviate from the typical build and go melters, and you'll see why as we get into the replay here. So this game I'm Sabertooth Specialist, which by the way I think is absolutely broken, and my opponent is Giant Specialist. I have yet to beat a Sabertooth Specialist on the ladder, just for your information. I do see this Specialist getting nerfed in the future, but I see my Tarantulas and I see the Sabertooth Specialist, I'm like, oh boy, it's my turn to crush. So I put my Tarantulas in my favorite spot, forward position, and focus on flanking this tower, or getting an aggressive play on that tower. And I got crawlers to start with, so I'll put one behind the tower here, one that's going to arrive a little bit later. This Fang is going to be our buffer for our Tarantulas not to take immediate aggro if my opponent puts something like Marksman down. And here my opponent is already sold out of one of the steel balls and just bought Fangs. So this game is extremely obvious from round one that I'll be dealing with Fortress Fang. He's even bought the Fortress already from his Giant Specialist on lockdown round one. This guy is committed to the Fort+Fang. So let's speed it up a little bit here. So here we go. Tarantula's mincing up those Fangs really nicely. However, these steel balls are going to probably get in to this tower, but it doesn't matter. We took the tower first. So we'll have our crawlers come over, almost finish off that pack of Fangs by themselves. Got 3 steel balls left, and our 2 tarantulas won't have any problem chewing through them. And here comes our wave of crawlers to finish off those Fangs. Slow down a little bit here. So I know my opponent is going to be going Fortress Fang, and I think Wraiths with armor are a really good early game counter to Fangs. So I grabbed the Wraith. I could have also taken the level 2 Stormcaller here for kind of dealing with both the Fang and the Fortress. So it's kind of a horse apiece here. But I know if I go Armor Wraiths, Fortresses are really bad against Armored Wraiths too. So if he's just going to roll his face across the keyboard and like just, you know, I'm gonna make the Fortress button, you know, like this is gonna beat him. However, my opponent doesn't do that this game, which has made the game a little bit more dynamic. I got my Sabertooth this round, which is utterly useless against this board. So the one time I get Sabertooth Specialist with decent starting units, I don't have somebody that's going like tanks, sledges I mean, or tarantulas, or any of the other decent starting units that this Sabertooth absolutely eviscerates. I have a flanking crawler up here that did get to the tower, but we won so hard on the right side it was kind of unnecessary. A Wraith taking care of all those Fangs, and our opponent taking some nice damage. So here we get another unit, another card round. My opponent skips, as do I. So now we have both Mech Rage and Range Enhancement from our opponent. So we got those double-teched Fangs. I leveled this crawler just in case he puts a single Arc Light here to deal with it, because level 2 crawlers beat a level 1 Arclight, but he's put 2 Fangs down instead. And he's done the damage upgrade. I added a second Wraith and leveled my Tarantula. So see, once again, the Wraiths are just overwhelmingly strong against Fangs with the armor enhancement. They hardly take any damage from these level 1 Fangs. They can tank for days. So I think if you need a quick fix for Fangs, grabbing something that has armor enhancement, they block so up 60 per damage per level. So if you have a level 2 anything, all of a sudden the Fangs literally do 0 damage on level 1. So if you can get a leveled unit with armor enhancement, it'll stop those Fangs from doing any damage to your unit. It doesn't solve the Fortress problem, but it does solve the Fang problem. So now we see Deployment Module, Photon Emission Barrier, and Super Supply come out. So my opponent grabs the barrier. I take the Deployment Module, thinking I'll probably end up moving these Wraiths around. I deploy Wraith on the top right flank to get into that tower. My opponent has, instead of going for the Fortress, he's went for the Melting Point. So darn it, he's not one of those guys that just sticks to his guns. So now our Wraiths will be getting laser beamed down by a Melting Point. I add 2 more Wraiths this round, 1 here and 1 here, to deal with these pesky Fangs. I have $200 left, probably going to go into maybe 1 more set of chaff, or maybe this attack enhancement. So this side is quite strong now. We'll probably clear out this 2 packs of Fangs, but this bubble from the barrier is going to be problematic for our low damage guys to get through. Maybe our Saber Tooth will help us pop it, but it's going to not probably be a great round for us here. A single Melting Point is going to cause us some distress, I would say. Apparently I'm thinking a lot this round. We're going right down to the wire. So I do equip the deployment mod, looks like I might have saved the money this round. So like I said, we totally plow through the left side. Right side falls. We do get that tower, but we still have all these Fangs to get through, and this Melting Point still has a bubble on it. Our tower is going to fall here, stopping any hope of chewing through these Fangs in time to kill the Melter before all these other Fangs show up. So you can see, if you deviate from that thing Fortress build and grab a Melter, if you're faced against the Wraiths, you'll probably do pretty well here. So now I have to overcome this Melting Point. So we'll see what I end up doing. We get another card round. Opponent skips. I grab the Javelin to plan on popping this Melter. So the Javelin will do just enough damage. It does 70k. This Melter is 61. So this Melter will go down. My opponent has added a Melting Point up here to kill that Wraith, and I knew that was coming, so I moved the Wraith out of the way to reinforce this right side. To help kill these Melting Points, I've added 3 sets of Stormcallers. We need something to pop that shield, and we need something to do damage to those Melting Points. So Stormcallers kind of are my solution to that. I grab the attack enhancement as well. So if you're going to play this armor Wraith style, I think you need to be kind of flexible on your attacks on the towers, because eventually, if the opponent does go Melter instead of Fortress, your Wraiths are not going to be able to frontline anymore. That's what I'm using it for. Unfortunately, the Melting Point did do enough damage to that Wraith, and we lost it. And we did lose the Wraith on the side from the higher level Fangs. This round, we just crush and just have 1 Melting Point left. That's going to get eaten up by the Stormcallers here. This one taking pretty hefty damage. We get a unit drop. I'm unsure of what I took here, but I took the Falcon to help burn some of these fangs once again. My opponent grabs 2 more melters right away. 1 to address this, and a 3rd melting point to take care of both of these wraiths, and this melter's over here to stop any flanking shenanigans that I can try. So in this one, I think I moved my wraith up here, and it is going to get sniped by this melting point. I add 3 more sets of stormcallers because I know more melters are coming. I also take the oil and make a runway over here for this melting point to walk across. I grab rapid resupply, enhanced range, and high mobility. I also add EMP to my stormcallers. So I figure there's probably going to be a melting point tech that's going to pop up this round. So we'll see our race getting targeted very quickly here, which is always sad to see. This wraith got popped right away by that melter. So pretty much all the fangs are down this round. Now we just have to get through all these melters. And we can see right now the level 1 stormcallers just don't do quite enough damage. And I think we end up falling a little bit short this round. There goes our tower. This melter falls to the fire. And this one looks like it's going to live with like 1 HP. Nope, we got it. 1 stormcaller left. He's probably just going to tickle these fangs. And it might be the end of the round here. So we didn't quite have enough that round. So this round we have Incendiary Bomb, Wasp Swarm, Efficient Tech Research, and Lead Hacker. Efficient Tech come out kind of late. Wasp Swarm isn't very effective against fangs. So I take the Incendiary Bomb, looking to French fry some of these fangs. Now with all this money I have, lots of upgrades on the Stormcallers seem pretty tempting. I think my deployments... we grab some Mustangs also to help get through these fangs. So it looks like I'm going to do 2 or 3 deployments of Mustangs. Got the range on them. A rapid resupply with a 3rd Mustang. I also just need something to kind of buffer our Stormcallers. I run out of chaff, and then the melting points can hit the Stormcallers, which is not ideal. So I've upgraded 4 packs of Stormcallers, and the extra damage from the Stormcallers really is the, I would say, the MVP of the round here. You can see the melting point going down a lot faster. All but a few Fang packs are left. My opponent did add 2 Overlords, but our Mustangs, thankfully, will take care of them as well. And with the extra damage from the Stormcaller, level 2 Stormcallers, the Melters don't stand a chance this round. So with that, we beat another Fort+Fang spammer. This one took a little bit longer. We went to round 7, and it wasn't a complete stomp. The choice of him to go melting point instead of trying to make it work with the Fortress was probably pretty smart. Fortress Anti-Air is pretty bad against Wraiths, and as soon as these Wraiths start to get some more levels, the Fangs become ineffective unless you have Ignite on them, in which he doesn't. So good choice, a good adaptation from King Henry to try to pull the game back with the melting points. However, the Stormcaller is coming in clutch, giving me that DPS that I needed, while the Wraiths did their best job to tank, and the melting points, or the Vulcans, did their best job to clear up anything that wasn't already killed by the Wraiths there. So I hope this gives you some ideas to help you deal with this build. I don't think either one of my opponents played perfect in these games. I would say, King Henry had a better game. He didn't fall for the trap of taking expensive cards like my opponent did. He sold out of his units quickly and transitioned into those double-tacked Fangs quickly. And if it wasn't for the race causing him to do a tech switch to melting points, he would have probably had fortresses out pretty quick as well. I think this game, I just had a little bit stronger game plan on how to deal with the fortresses and the fangs. I mean, you need to start from as soon as you become aware that it's happening, right? Like grabbing the wraith, getting the armor enhancement bought me time, but to stop this from getting going, like the highest level fang you had is 2, which is a big deal. Like if you start getting, you know, level 3, level 4 fangs, they do so much damage. They're gonna kill everything in that they touch, basically, if they get in range. So keeping those levels low on those fangs is important. I think the best way to do that is with an armor enhancement unit. It doesn't matter what unit it is. It can be tank or sledges. It can be a race. It could be a worm. Whichever unit makes the most sense for that game. I don't remember if tarantulas have the armor enhancement, but they might. I know they have healing. So just I would keep an option or 2 in your tech loadout that have armor enhancement. That will stop those fangs in those first few rounds. And usually the armor enhancement's a fairly cheap tech, so it doesn't hurt your economy that bad. And then right around when the fortress, or in this case the melting point, drops, you're going to need a DPS unit. So in this case it was the Stormcaller for me. I think I was a bit like maybe a round late for their deployment, because that one round we had just this single melting point killing our whole army, because I just did not have the damage to deal with it. But you'll need something. Stormcallers are great. They can be countered. Things like melting points are probably better to help you get through those shields. And I think high level sledgehammers or saber-tooths are also a decent answer to the fortress, especially with the double shot. They'll pop those bubbles really quick, and then let your other units take care of those fangs. So those are some of the ideas of how to deal with Fort+Fang. I hope the 2 games are good examples for you to think about if you're struggling against this build. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you like the content, and we'll see you on the next one. Happy Mechabelluming out there. See you guys.
This video is done, but you don't have to be. Click one of these Mechabellum videos to keep watching. We got more crawling.